Well, hello everybody and welcome along to this video. Mr. Johnson teaches Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 4, one of the quick revision series that I'm doing, just running through the scene and some key points from it that you might need to know before the exam. Like all of the early scenes in Act 1, this one is really important in setting up what's going to come later on in the play, and quite soon after it indeed as well. So let's move into it then and have a little look. And the first thing I'd like to do is summarise the scene quickly then. So this is where King Duncan thanks Macbeth face to face, Macbeth and Banquo, for their service in the battle. The king then announces that his eldest son Malcolm will become the next king. This causes Macbeth to consider then murdering Duncan to make the witch's second prophecy come true. And that second prophecy, the first one was that he be Thane of Cawdor, the second prophecy is that he shall be king. And now he sees a problem in his way because Malcolm being the Prince of Cumberland and becoming the king is a problem to Macbeth becoming king. The key characters who feature in this scene include King Duncan. Malcolm there is the king's oldest son, and he is referred to as the Prince of Cumberland here. Again, another part of Scotland, Cumberland. And then you've also got Macbeth and Banquo featuring in this scene as well. So let's run through it then. Act 1, Scene 4 at the top there. Forres, so we're in a place in Scotland, at the palace. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox. There are other attendants and those there as well. Duncan asks whether the execution has been done on Cawdor, meaning the old Thane of Cawdor. And Malcolm replies to him, sort of describing how the old Thane of Cawdor has acted, but particularly the bit that I've highlighted with the first arrow there. He talks about how the old Thane of Cawdor seems to be throwing his life away, almost like he didn't care for it, like it meant nothing. And in some ways, I've highlighted in yellow there for you, this could be foreshadowing what's going to happen to Macbeth later on in the play, who also goes on to, in some ways, throw away his life, trying to get hold of something which really wasn't his in the first place. Which is why that's highlighted in yellow. But then particularly in pink near the bottom there, Duncan then replies, "There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face." Like there's no skill in being able to tell what the mind is thinking by looking at someone's face. As I've put there, you can't judge somebody from their appearances, which is ironic because he is trusting Macbeth. And that's one of the themes of the play there, like not being able to judge somebody by how they look. Then in come Banquo and Macbeth, and Duncan is very happy and grateful. And then in the middle, where I've put that first arrow there, the king announces that his son Malcolm is to become Prince of Cumberland. He says, "We will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, who we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland." And then he talks near the bottom there, from hence, like from here, we're going to go to Inverness, which means the king and his court, like everybody who's with him, are going to travel to Macbeth's castle in Inverness. Now, talking to one side, Macbeth says, and this is why it's in pink, it's a really good quote for you, "The Prince of Cumberland, that is a step on which I must fall down, or else o'erleap," like jump over, "for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires." That's a really useful quote for using at this point of the play, because this is where Macbeth really turns and really first reveals the darkness that's inside of him and that evil. So I put on the arrow there, Macbeth reveals his intention to murder Duncan there. But he also then says, he tells the heavenly stars not to see his dark ideas. That's where he says, "Stars, hide your fires," like don't look at me, don't let your light see my black and deep desires. So he even recognises himself that what he's wishing and wanting is bad. And then he goes on to say, Macbeth is talking in rhyme there, like the B and C. Once again, that mirrors the evil of the witches when he starts doing that. Off goes Macbeth, and Duncan then says about Banquo being very valiant as well. He's full of praise for Macbeth and also praises Macbeth, and that makes Macbeth almost seem more cruel because Duncan is there praising him, and then Macbeth, of course, is going to plan and murder the king, which is why I've underlined the words valiant and peerless there. Almost peerless means there's no one else like him. He's just such a noble, loyal soldier to me. Key themes in this scene, well, we've got deception and duplicity again, Macbeth looking like one thing and being another, but also don't forget that Duncan referred to that himself as well, about not being able to tell what somebody is thinking by looking at their face. Betrayal comes through, of course, but also kingship. Duncan acts in a very kingly way in this, and is a very good, virtuous is a really good word to use for him as well, to sow virtue, virtuous, virtuous. Look it up if it's a word you're not sure of. There's some quick revision questions. I'm not going to leave those on the screen too long because you can pause this video and go through those. They're basically getting you to go back through this scene and retrieve some of the answers to make sure you've been paying attention. A bigger question to consider is, how does Shakespeare present dark desires in this scene? So think about what he's talking about Malcolm as a step. He uses that metaphor, a step which he must overleap, like literally step over him in order to get what he wants. There's some key questions that you could pause beneath that main question that might help you answer it. So again, pause this scene and have a go at this one. And finally, Macbeth now faces a moral dilemma, and by this I mean the picture of the stars there. He's talking directly to the stars and the heavens there, almost accepting that what he's going to do is very dark and will ultimately lead to him going to hell. There's no other way around it. He will end up going to hell, and therefore he almost wants to not let heaven see what he plans to do, because he knows what he plans to do is so evil. So that's the end of that video then. Act 1 Scene 4 gone through for you. Do keep watching and check out some of the other videos which will help you through some other key scenes in the play. And other than that, I say thank you very much for watching and good luck when it comes to your exams. Bye bye.